I saw Maltrap posted the Moonlight event costume art. So let's go ahead. We are going to rate the Moonlight event costume art from worst to best. This is entirely my decision, based on my tastes and no one else's. If it is not what you want, that's okay. Number 12 is Nero. I think Nero's is the worst one, and it's not honestly because Nero has 3 costume dresses. Not at all. I just don't think it really fits her. I really don't. I know like green and orange are generally colors that go together, but I don't really like the dress. I guess if they did something more Roman, it would have clashed with her other costume dress. But there's just so much. There's just so much about this design that just seems off. I don't like the bow. I don't like the ponytail. So Nero has got to get a big not her toga out of 10. I'm just going to go ahead and use her toga instead. So we got Nero down there at the number 12. Too much green. Way too much green. I cannot abide by that. Number 11, which I am sure will make some people just shut off the video if they are watching this later on YouTube. Number 11 is MASH. Number 11 is MASH. I get what they were trying to do. They're really trying to promote like the Castoria concept behind it, but it just looks so plain. It looks so plain on MASH. I don't like the boots. I don't like the way the hat sits on her head. The pose itself just isn't dynamic at all. I understand they were trying to be referential, but for me, I would honestly consider MASH's idol skin itself probably her worst costume in the entire game. Number 10. Number 10 is Jean. And you're going to ask me if it's the legs. It is the legs. The legs are definitely part of it. I really liked the horse fan art of that a lot better. I really did. I thought the horse fan art was hysterical and justified the use of that costume. But again, as far as Jean goes, the legs look weird. I don't really like the flag motif as much. It's got some good stuff going for it. I really do like the doily thing they had going with her little helmet headpiece headband. I thought that was great. I like the flow of the ponytail. If you actually took out the dress and maybe trimmed it in a little bit, that pose would seem a little more dynamic. But I don't think Jean's is really all that good. I would have much preferred a Laetitia costume for Jean rather than this. All right, so number 9 is Uriel. Uriel's costume does look good on her. I will not deny that. Uriel's costume actually does look good on her. But Uriel's costume just seems so similar to her previous costume that I'm not really quite sure what the deal was with them making it. The headband she's got is cute. She's got a very nice pose going for her, but I feel like the bottom part of the dress sort of ends up ruining that. And I mean, honestly, one of the biggest rules of character design is you need to be able to tell it's the character based on the silhouette. If you took away the little sun bits around her head, I wouldn't be able to tell it was Uriel. I really wouldn't. If you blacked out the entire piece of art, I wouldn't be able to tell that was Uriel. But I still think, overall, it's a solid design. It's just playing it a little too safe. So that's why I've got to go ahead and chuck Uriel as my number 9. Number 8 here is Altera. There are a lot of great elements of this that I like. There are a lot of great elements of this that I like. It's honestly, though, it kind of screams a little bit more of like a swimsuit for me. It kind of seems like this was a little more of an unused swimsuit design. But the way the design flows is very, very good. The way they ended up playing off of her tattoos, I think was very, very nice. I think that's a great touch. Her veil looks just as gorgeous as ever, and you can tell they were trying to really push that. And more than anything else, I do like getting a chance to see that sort of more demure side of Altera that you'll catch if you played any of the Fate Extella games. It's a very, very nice side of Altera that I wish we had opportunities to see more, and that just doesn't normally come through in the art for Altera and FGO. So the last bit of the bottom is Helena Blavatsky. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that Helena Blavatsky has a costume. She's needed it for such a long time. I'm glad that she got a buff. I really do believe that Helena is a very underappreciated servant. My main issue with this design is, even though it is a very fitting idol costume in and of itself, it just kind of screams to me, you know, generic idol. I feel like you could just throw this onto absolutely any idol character from any anime ever as just like, you know, we really need a play it safe design for this character. What do you got for me? And be like, here's a bunch of idol costumes, pull one out of the bin. Okay, it's that one. We'll be using that one for this week. And because we don't really want to design anything. So it is a solid idol costume, but that's really all it is. I wish there was more in there that played off Helena, that played off the Mahatma. I don't even see the book in there. I would love to see the book in there implemented somehow. So there you go. That's what puts Helena at number 7. And now we are getting into the top 6, baby. Tomokat comes in at number 6. It's great. It's great. It really, really is. It encompasses a lot of what Tomokat is about. And if there was a gimmick idol that Tomokat was, she would be a Sonic waitress gimmick Tomokat idol. She's got the cute little name tag. She's got the skates. Even though it kind of seems like it's pushing into her regular pose, it is indeed something that you could just slap over her regular pose and be like, no, this fits. This fits. This works. This is a solid Tomokat-centric thing. As far as some of the other... Yeah, now I want to visit Wendy's. Exactly. As far as some of the elements of the design that I'm kind of iffy on, I'm not quite sure about the pure overabundance of red in this design. I do think it's very, very striking. It ends up making my eye move around a bit, but I kind of would like to see it played with a little more. I kind of feel like her bow, for example, is a little muted, and that ends up pulling the whole design off. If the bow wasn't really that muted, I think it would just tie the whole design together a lot more. Also, why doesn't she have a omelet rice? Why isn't she bringing out an omelet rice and coffee? That is what you give Tomokat if she is bringing out food to you. I know those may seem like petty complaints, but it's my video and I will do what I want. All right, so we've got Tomokat in at number 6. Now we get to go on to number 5. Neato Chris. I do really, really enjoy this idol design for Neato Chris. I wish the Medjeds were implemented more in a way that wasn't just them being there. I think it'd be nicer if Medjeds were, like, implemented as a sort of part of her costume. Like, maybe you see that sash down there. If there was, like, a Medjed on the sash, that would easily bump that up a couple of places for me. But her pose is great. I love the little thing she's doing with her hat. Her costume ends up flowing well together. Red is used well as an accent color. It's not just drawing everything everywhere and making your eye go crazy like Tomokat. It's just there to make the most important elements of the composition, mainly her head and her waist, just pop out, and you're like, bam, there's where my eyes go. There's where my eyes go. So that is why Neato Chris ends up hitting at number 5. Number 4 is Queen Maeve. This is just such a beautiful design for Maeve. It is so freaking pretty. The dress is so pretty. I like the way her headband flows. The final art, if you haven't seen the final art for this, go look at it right now, because it is like up there as some of the most gorgeous Final Ascension art in the entire game. And that's why I end up getting her so high. There was no way Maeve wasn't going to break into the top 5 of this. Absolutely not. It was always going to happen. The question is where. If you had to ask me, I would say this indeed is the definitive Queen Maeve costume. If I had Queen Maeve, she would be in this costume 24/7. It is the best thing they have ever released for her. So Queen Maeve gets high marks. High marks. But there's still 3 more that get higher marks. And that, of course, pushes us over to Ushiwakamaru. I know I said that weird. Ushiwakamaru. Why did I say it like that? Ushiwakamaru. Those hints of Yoshitsune in this design are just absolutely amazing. They are truly stunning. I like the she's also evoking some of the coolest samurai tropes that I have seen ever. We are talking the that single sleeve. I love when they do the single sleeve in samurai films. That also is like a heavy evoking of Muramasa. They're doing some really awesome, interesting things with her belt, making it a helmet. That is just genius. That is genius. The dress is great. They're playing around with her like duality of colors. You can even notice if you look underneath the little words for it, the stocking matches her sleeves. That's great. That is a fantastic attention to detail. So even though Ushi isn't number 1 for me, I've definitely got to give her a number 3. Ushi, top 3, easily. Number 2 is probably going to be the one that you are surprised isn't my number 1. Number 2 is Shuten Doji. Okay, yes, I get it. Boo-boo. I don't like Raida. Boo-boo. Whatever. This is a beautiful kimono for Shuten Doji. Shuten Doji. Shuten Doji's costume is fantastic. You've got those evocations in there of her magical girl outfit as well. So it really ends up seeming uniform and ends up fitting in with the character. I know they had to do a couple of corrections on the design. There were some issues they were having with the tummy, but she is really like pushing that pose to the next level. I really like the little clasp she has on her horns. Her face makeup is great. The headpiece is just beautiful. The flowers. There is really a lot to love, I feel, about Shuten Doji's kimono. So that's why she ends up hitting number 2. And I'm pretty sure this means that you all know who number 1 is. Number 1, my friends, easily. The second I saw this, I was like, if there's something that was going to be better, they'd better release it quick, or else this is going to just hit number 1 for me forever. And it is Hasan of the Serenity. I love Serenity's outfit. I absolutely adore it. I cannot give it enough praise. You got the poison apple motif. She is working in her weapons in her assassin's class. They're falling out of her dress bakemonogatari style. But the thing that sold it for me the most, friends, the things that ended up making me fall in love with this costume the most, is if you go into her sprite sheet and look at the expression list for her costume. Go and take a look at the expressions that Hasan of Serenity has tied to this costume. There is just so much work that was put into this costume to truly give Serenity a gamut of really, really expressive emotions. So just that on top of everything, the fact that the costume not only looks good, but also adds so much more depth of expression into Hasan Serenity's character is why it easily hits my number one. But Twitch chat, what's your number one? And YouTube, what's your number one? Let me know. Okay, we're gonna end the YouTube video there. It's fine. Push out. We're good. Tony, cut the edit.